Stuart Rosenberg, and I'd like to welcome you to the League of Creative Musicians. This is the control room in the studio of the League, and we're happy to have you here. This is the smaller version of the other iconic RCA microphone. This is the Junior Velocity, or 74. And this is kind of a sleeper in the world of classic ribbon microphones because it's not as well known as the 44 or the 77. People didn't collect it as much, so you can still get these, you know, for around $1,200, as opposed to these which are going for thousands and thousands. But it has some of the same characteristics. The microphone will deform somewhat depending on the angle of declination, which will change the response characteristics. And they just, you know, they've got a lot of character. They sound nice, and they look great on album covers. They're icons of design in addition to being great microphones. They just look wonderful. Part of the reason is they came out of an era, an Art Deco era, where design was an important characteristic. Industrial designers, and I believe this is Raymond Loewy's design. He's the guy who designed the Avanti sports car, and I mean just a ton of fabulous iconic things. The other thing is that these were designed to be broadcast microphones. They were designed to be on camera. So they had to look good. They had to look, you know, they had to convey the strength and character of RCA, the Radio Corporation of America, in its prime. Both of these microphones, by the way, were restored by Clarence Kane, he was an engineer for RCA for many years, and he's one of the deans of ribbon microphone restoration. I believe he's still working there. A couple of guys around the country who really do this. AEA, which is a company in California, manufactures note-for-note replicas of the classic RCA microphones, and they also repair the RCA ribbons. But they make versions of both of these microphones that look exactly like the original, but have all modern electronics and a little more stable than some of the classic ones. The use of technology in order to create a sonic character to a recording, you know, there's an infinite number of ways that you can go to do that, and there's software at this point that will mimic what vintage hardware does. You've got software that mimics the sound of tape saturation and all those kinds of things. And you know, I think ultimately what people are trying to do is trying to recreate what they perceive to be the sound of a recording session that yields a great quality recording. And to my way of thinking, and I think to a certain segment of the recording world, the most critical thing to make that happen is to create the right environment for people to make music in. We have an interesting collection of microphones. We're not comprehensive by any means, and we're not done collecting them, but we've got a number of these nice old RCA ribbon microphones. We've got the 44, and we've got a nice 74 Junior Velocity. In addition to our microphones, we do have access to a fabulous wealth of other microphones through some of our colleagues in the industry who do collect microphones, and we can get anything from an M49 to a set of Neve compressors or outboard mic pre's, you know, within 24 hours.